I have recently talked about the metagame and showcased the most successful decklists that are currently available in Pokemon TCG Pocket. And I have talked about why these decks are really bad, even to an unplayable extent, especially when it comes to like Dialga Arceus or Leafeon EX, Celebi EX, you know. And yeah, I already told you why these decks are really bad and uncompetitive, right? Like the entire metagame right now that we have is a complete uncompetitive clusterfuck. I've also mentioned multiple times that since Space Time Smackdown released, the overall quality of players and quality of matches are at an all-time low, and this game just hit rock bottom. And now, like 3 days later, I have a mountain of evidence to back me up here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Right now, if you look at all the tournament results, right? If you extract the data from the tournaments that are played and look at this data, then you will find that pretty much every single deck out there sees some success. There is barely even a meta to begin with. Like, anyone can have success with anything. It doesn't matter anymore, you know? There are a whole bunch of decks that consistently make top 3, top 5, and everything is out there no matter what it is. And yeah, I will show you clear evidence in a moment, right? I will show you a lot of decks that see success and everything is completely random. Like back in the day, quote unquote back in the day, when Genetic Apex was around, you know, there were players that were consistently top cutting. For example, myself. And yeah, I made friends with somebody else for quite a while because we consistently faced off against each other in top 16s. So yeah, there were clearly some players are more successful than others. But right now, that is not the case anymore at all. Like, anyone could make top 16 if it's just lucky enough. And you might think right now that, wait a minute, Strawhead, that is actually a good thing. If there are tons of decks out there that are quote-unquote competitive and can see success, then that's an amazing metagame, right? If that's the case, then yeah, sorry to break it to you, but you are completely wrong, you know? What that shows, that is not an amazing metagame. That is, as I said, a complete clusterfuck. Because a good TCG has a clear metagame and things that are set in stone. Cards that the meta is based around. A good card game has players that are clearly and consistently better than others because they are better players. And they build better decks and they deserve to be more successful because they are better, you know. That is not the case in Pokemon TCG Pocket because the game is unbalanced and heavily based around RNG, especially when it comes to how you draw. Now again, I have heard this quote unquote argument a lot of, yo, Strawhead, this is a trading card game, and trading card games are by nature dependent on how you draw. This RNG exists in every single trading card game out there. What are you talking about? And if you think now that this argument is valid and there's truth in that argument, quote unquote argument, then you have never seen any success in any card game and you were always a bad player no matter how many card games or what card games you played, because you couldn't be more wrong. And let me tell you why that is. Sure, There is RNG when it comes to drawing in every card game to some extent. In Pokemon TCG Pocket though, that RNG is taken to the next level, and all that game is about is exactly this draw RNG. And I will explain to you why. No matter what other trading card game you look at, be it like Cardfight Vanguard, Magic the Gathering, the physical TCG in Pokemon, if you look at Digimon, or if you look at whatever card game you want, right? Yu-Gi-Oh! Name whatever card game you want. In all of these games, yeah, let's keep it at Pokemon. Let's look at the physical TCG of Pokemon as an example here. In this game you will find a whole ton, mountains of cards that act as draw engines. There are trainers, there are Pokemon, there's everything that draws you cards. A whole bunch of options there. What do we have in Pokemon TCG Pocket as a draw engine? Professor's Research, that's it. Move on, you know? And search engines. In Pokemon TCG, in the physical TCG, you have countless of search engines. Specifically, you have cards that allow you to search your deck for one specific card you want. You can choose whatever card out of your deck and put it into your hand. There are cards that do that for you in the physical TCG of Pokemon, you know? That's why the physical TCG of Pokemon is playable and a quite successful TCG, because you can actually play the game, as you can search the cards that you need to play the game out of your deck and draw them out of your deck. You are not that hardcore reliant on RNG, you know? And Pokemon TCG Pocket doesn't have any of this. We don't have a draw engine. Professor's Research, that's pathetic. That is already proven time and time and time again. It's not enough. Nothing else draws your card here. And our search engines are also dependent on RNG. They are inconsistent as fuck, you know? You cannot search out a card that you want. No, you get a random basic Pokemon out of your deck with Pokeball. With Pokemon Communication, you get a random Pokemon in your hand, and that's it. See, again, it's making me laugh. That is it. Those are the two search engines that we have. I don't forget about Mythical Slop. That is for Psychic decks, and guess what? That's also RNG based, you know? So I mentioned it a lot in the recent past, that if you, like, every single deck in this game that ever existed, no matter what deck you play, how you build your deck, it doesn't matter. Every single deck in this game depends on one singular card, and if you do not draw into this one singular card, your game becomes unplayable and you will get shit on. Even you could be the best player in the world by far, you would still lose the game against a decent player if you don't draw this one card. It counts for every single deck out there, right? I have gone over this in the more detail in the past, so yeah, I will leave it at that. And yeah, if you want this in more detail, go look at my most recent videos. They are made not too long ago. So with that out of the way, we can now actually look at some decks. And yeah, if you just have listened to me, then I said that every single deck heavily depends on this one singular card. And yes, right now you can literally see a success with any deck you want. You can build whatever the heck you want, and you can actually win if you just draw good enough. That's just the state of the game. That's just a fact, and it's proven by tournament results. And you know what the result of this is? What this leads to? That guess what? Decks are among the most successful decks in the game right now. The cheese decks. This deck right here, you can play this with Articuno or you can play this with Palkia, choose whatever card you want, it doesn't matter. Why are those cheese decks now among the most successful decks in the game? Because of what I just talked about. The dependence on the one card that you need to be able to play your deck. And there is, again, there's another flaw in this deck, that mulligan doesn't exist. I just talked about this in my most recent video as well, so go look at that if you want more detail. And this is abusing that fact, as you will always have that Palkia in your hand. Every single game, 100% guaranteed, that's in your starting hand. That's why this is so successful, because this relies less on this astronomically high RNG in how you draw. This gives you Palkia straight out of that, and Articuno as well. As I said, you can play this with whatever card you want. This is why this is the most successful deck in the game right now. Of course, the deck also saw quite a good buff with Irida, and that the lightning decks with Pikachu are out of the way, kind of out of the way, also helps. But the number one reason why this deck sees like pretty much more success than anything else, not much comes close here, is exactly that draw RNG. You get Palkia, boom. You don't need a draw into that Arceus or into that Darkrai or whatever you want, right? Into that Leafeon, into that Celebi. You don't have to do that. You get that Palkia, boom, and there you go. And that's why those decks see a lot of success right now, right? I mean, everything sees success. You can win with everything. Every little Timmy can win a game with Delmice, or with Dunsparce, whatever. Everything is possible right now. Nothing is set in stone, and it's a random, uncompetitive clusterfuck. But still, the amount of these cheese decks is like proof that what I'm saying here is, I know that what I'm saying is correct, otherwise I wouldn't say it, but you might not understand it, and you can see this as proof. And believe me, just in case it's whatever, right? The player base is a little bit on the low IQ side here, so I feel like I have to mention these things. It's kind of pathetic, but whatever, you see. And now let's move on and go into quick succession and show off like all the decks that are successful, and just briefly talk about them. We have this Dalgia Arceus lineup here, deck list here, that is obviously completely trash. I already told you why in my recent video that I did like 2 days ago or something by now. And if you simply are able to count to 3, then you will already realize why Dialga doesn't make any sense here whatsoever. Even Arceus doesn't make any sense here whatsoever. So this deck is complete trash. But it sees still success. It wins here and there, right? Not much. It actually barely ever gets first place, but it did sometimes. So there you go. That's Dalgia EX and Arceus EX. Then we have the cheese that I just mentioned, and we have this one, the biggest tournament outside of Japan, and it's absolutely pathetic. I've already also talked about this. You can't even start a game off with anything, right? The only good starter here that you would have is Sudowoodo. If you don't draw that at the beginning, then you have to start off with a Riolu or a Fossil. I think that speaks for itself. And even if you start with Sudowoodo, that thing only has 80 HP, and it is reliant that your opponent has an EX in the active, and otherwise it's just absolutely pathetic. Those are the reasons this deck is pretty trash, right? Obviously, it doesn't get more obvious than this. If you don't understand that this deck is completely bad, then I don't know what to tell you. I already mentioned this in my previous video as well, so let's move on. Yeah, there's the other cheese deck. We have Arceus Carnivine with a Snapper Rotom. Now, this is what I would say is a little bit better of a deck. But then again, you know, the draw RNG, the draw reliance that you have here is through the roof inconsistent. You have to start your game off with Carnivine, and you have to have Arceus as well on the bench. That is almost never gonna happen. But why do I say this is a little bit better than other decks? Because you have a Rotom as a backup. For just 1 energy, you can deal 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon, you know? This is like a Hitmonlee, which is a really good card. But for any, you can slot this into any deck you want. And if you have Arceus on the field, that's why you don't even have to play this 1 retreat cost. So yeah, it's a little bit better than the other decks. Still, it doesn't beat like a Darkrai or something, but or the Palkia cheese or the Articuno cheese or whatever. But yeah, if you want to play Arceus, this is actually the way to do it. But still, that doesn't mean that this deck is any good. Keep that in mind though. Yeah, then we have this. This is completely unplayable trash. Again, you have no starter. You can't start with Celebi, as this is your hard carry and you want to set it up before you ever put it into the active. If this thing eats damage before it's set up, then it's good night for this deck. Then you can't start with Eevee, so no matter what, you will be really slow, and any decent deck with a somewhat decent player will just wreck the shit out of you. Like, I mean, what the hell is this even? Like, what do you even do with this, you know? You have to have that Leafeon EX in the active. You need a whole bunch of time to generate that grass energy to Celebi. You even have to draw into that Celebi in the first place, you know? Just completely forget about it. Then yeah, Gyarados is still successful. Quite consistent, quite good, but yeah, I mean, you have the starters with Druddigon, you can start with Kangaskhan, but these two, they fell out of favor. Even the Druddigon, because now there are a lot of things that could hit you for 50 damage right out of the gate. So that's like a Kangaskhan is down with 2 hits without ever doing anything. Druddigon at least deals 40 damage back, so he's much better, you know. That's why you play him 2 times instead of just 1 like the Kangaskhan. But then again, you have that Magikarp on the bench. If you don't draw into that Gyarados, you're completely fucked. So you see the pattern, right? Every deck is heavily dependent on draw engine, except for the Palkia and the Articuno cheese, and that's why they are just the best decks in the game at the moment. They are pretty much only Darkrai comps close, maybe Arceus Carnivine, but not really, you know. And yeah, this is, I mean, you have that the Magikarp is a problem. Druddigon and Kangaskhan are not too great anymore, so it's kinda whatever. It's better than like Dialga and Arceus, but yeah, that's not a hard task to pull off. But yeah, there you go. I wanted to show you this. This pops up every now and then. Yeah, we have of course like the standard Darkrai. This is still one of the best decks in the game, no question about it. And yeah, I already did a more than deep dive into this deck, so let's move on here. Yeah. I mean, just take a look at this, let it sink in for a second, realize that this sees actual success. This made top 3 in a tournament. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. We have again another Darkrai list that is, yeah, already proven so many times to be not a thing. If you play Darkrai, you pair with Magnezone, or you don't play Darkrai in the first place. But you know, even this obvious trash, everyone knows this list is trash by now. That's like a fact for so long. You have to be living under a rock if you didn't realize by now that this is not the way to play Darkrai. So there you go. There's even more. So you see, everything can see success. And also, yeah, no player consistently top cuts anymore or anything. Everything is RNG. That's what I'm telling you here. Here, you see Executor, you paired with an Arceus of all things. You don't even have, like, let that sink in. You don't even have enough Pokemon to put on your bench to make Arceus deal damage. Arceus will here in this deck never ever deal the 130 damage. It doesn't make any sense. It is complete brain rot that is going on here. And this shit, Cease Success, that tells you everything you have to know about it. I could have just shown you that this deck, Cease Success, yeah, maybe the Pachirisu and Zapdos as well, and you would already, like, that's all I would have to show you to make you realize how low the quality of players and matches are in Pocket, how hard this game hit rock bottom. If you can't see this, like when I'm showing you this and you can't see the rock bottom here, then I mean, I don't excuse me, I don't know what to tell you. I can't talk to you then. It's like the most obvious thing ever. But of course, I mean, we don't stop here, right? We keep going with decks that see success, because everything is random, everyone can win. Here, Charizard is still a thing. Is that a surprise? A little bit, maybe. I mean, if Dialga, Arceus can see success, everything can see success, right? That's what I'm talking about all the time. I told you from when, like, even before the set was released, when the set was leaked, right? I told you, Dialga is unplayable F tier garbage. I told you this before Space Time Smackdown released, way before that. And I told you that again after Triumphant Light hit. Dialga is unplayable garbage F tier. Don't ever play it, don't even think about it, you know? But people play it for some weird reason. Low IQ, and it sees success. So if that's the case, everything can see success, you know. It was not hard to see this coming. And there you go, Charizard is also a thing. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to show you. And I don't think I have to tell, I don't think I have to say anything else anymore. The video is already way longer than I had initially planned, so yeah, let's keep it at that. I hope that was informative and maybe even a little bit fun, although it was negative. Of course, there's no positive way to talk about this game. If I would do that, I would be completely fake and lying to you. And yeah, you know me by now. That's not something I would do. I always are 100% honest with you, and I'm telling you the truth, and base what I say on professionally analyzed data, and that's what I'm presenting to you. And there you go. I will leave it at that. If you enjoy Pokemon TCG Pocket content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Have a great day. One more thing. I won't do any more coaching sessions right now, as there is nothing to coach. This game is right now, no matter where you look at or how you spin it, it is not a competitive game at all. There's nothing to teach here. All I can say, play whatever the fuck you want and pray. That's all. That's like the coaching session, or that's anything I could tell you, you know, and anyone could tell you, because that's the reality of the situation. But anyways, have a great day, take care of yourselves, and leave a follow. Bye bye.